Oh, we're back!
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan DeBear, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. I hope your 2019 has started wonderfully and you're already ticking off those goals. I mean, it's only been like a couple weeks, so we'll give it a little bit of time. I'm excited to bring the reviews back. Here we are, sticking to our schedule, and today is a pretty exciting one. I've been getting the request for this review for quite some time. It's a shoe from Saucony. It is the new Kinvara 10. So my initial thoughts on the Kinvara 10 are that it's very similar to the Kinvara 9, which was a bit of a step in the wrong direction from the Kinvara 8, which is a bit of a different step than the Kinvara 7, and so on all the way back to the Kinvara 1. This shoe has seen some serious evolution over the years. But I was looking back. My third video posted to this channel on February 25th, 2011 was my very first review of the Saucony Kinvara, almost 8 years ago to the day. I do warn you, if you go back and watch that video, it's an absolute cringe fest, pretty much like all my videos. Full of swearing for some reason. It's funny because early on, it wasn't the swearing that made my videos edgy, it was being honest about the gear that I was reviewing. We've come a long way. So here's what's cool about the Kinvara 10. The design goes right back to its roots. From the upper to little details across the midsole, this shoe looks very similar to the Kinvara 1, but does it feel as good as that first original version? The shoe has changed a lot over the years, so let's start talking about the things I like and dislike about the Saucony Kinvara 10. Is the shoe anything to write home about? Let's find out, starting as always with things that I like. Simplicity. So this is something I've always liked about the Kinvara. The shoe itself is pretty dang simple. It's a multi-layered mesh upper, limited overlays, cleanly attached to an efficient midsole with very little outsole. So the shoe itself maintains that simplicity that it's kept onto for multiple years. Very few bells and whistles, a straight up runner. And I always thought the shoe was a solid choice for those looking to get into running, maybe training for your first half or full marathon. It's kind of a workhorse for all foot types and strides. Homage. The shoe itself is a solid homage to the first version. It was cool that they recognized that, this being the 10th version, the 10th anniversary of the Kinvara. The fact that the design and the look is very similar to the first version, I thought it was a cute throwback. From the upper, the overlays, the heel cups, the heel pads, a lot of similarities. Pretty neat. No more Pro Lock. Oh, I cannot be happier about this. They finally got rid of that nasty little device across the midfoot that caused nothing but problems, fitment issues, lacing issues, just annoyance altogether. You can still see it on version 9, but you can't see it on version 10. Bye-bye, Pro Lock. The upper. By far the strongest element of the Kinvara 10 is the upper. I think it's one of the best designed uppers that they put out for the shoe in its 10 generations. It's a super soft and flexible mesh upper that adapts to your foot. It has that sock-like fit of the original version, but it's a softer material. It's nice. The evolution is great and yet still durable. So the overall fit of the upper, solid choice. You don't need that Pro Lock. This is proof of it. Again, it goes back to that simplicity, just a really good feeling upper that at least fits my foot, and I like it a lot. That being said, it's not all kitten mews and Snickers bars. There are some things that I dislike about the Kinvara 10, and these are the things that matter. The shoe is heavier. It's a little bit fatter, 0.1 ounces. It's not a lot of weight gain, but we already saw the previous version, 9, gain weight over the 8, so to see this even get a little bit heavier is just a weird direction in which to move. From the heel counter, the heel bracing system, some of the additional padding along the ankle collar, there are elements that are heavier in the shoe. 0.1 ounces is not a lot, so I know many of you are gonna be like, come on, really? Yes, after 10 versions of the shoe, you would expect them not to be adding more things. Stiffer. So the last version was stiffer than the previous. This version is stiffer than the last version. It just is moving away from what I fell in love with the original Kinvara and the generations after that, up until the last one. Just trying 10 versus 9, you'll notice immediately that the 9 is softer than the 10. That sucks. I mean, I've fully broken the shoe in with about 60 miles or so in it, and it just has not opened up. That midsole hasn't gotten any softer. The form-fit footbed that they're marketing, I don't think does it any justice. Unfortunately, it's not a very soft shoe. Those of you who want a lot of road feel, a real snappy, tight, non-cushioned racer, this might be more in line with what you're looking for. But if we're seeing a shoe that's supposed to harken back to the original version, the midsole doesn't quite do it justice. And finally, noise. This shoe is like wearing a tap shoe. There were full-on runs where I was embarrassed to run with other people because of the noise the shoe made. I mean, listen, it's embarrassing to watch me run anyways, but the shoe itself was making so much noise that people were pulling out headphones, commenting on the fact the shoes were clicking on the ground. And it isn't necessarily my stride from hitting from midfoot to forefoot. I've been working on it for many, many years now. I'm not necessarily a giant heel striker or dragging along the shoe to make noise. It's just generally a loud shoe. That's disappointing. So that's it for dislikes. In conclusion, this is not the Kinvara 1. This is not the Kinvara version 1 through 8. This is very close to version 9, though with a redesigned upper. Less redesigned, more resurrected, as it is very similar to the version 1 design. But if you liked version 9, you may or may not like this version, as it is a bit stiffer and very slightly heavier and certainly noisier. The midsole is where you're going to see most of the changes. The upper is where it gets better and comfier. Let's get more specific. Build quality, again, I think it gets better. Build quality definitely gets better with each version. I think that the upper materials are holding up quite well. The midsole and outsole are showing very little sign of wear. So overall, the build quality of the shoe has improved, and this is no exception. It's good. As for comfort, it's just not nearly as comfortable as previous Kinvaras. I'd say it's the stiffest of all of them, which is unfortunate because the Kinvara was always my go-to grab for long runs, and unfortunately, it's just kind of moved out of that realm for me. Fit, I still love the fit. I think that the upper fits like a glove. You can really tighten it down. It's comfortable up here in the midfoot and forefoot. We're getting a good lock without the Pro Lock, believe it or not. So fit is good. Price, it's $110. It's a new shoe, new version, so they're going to be asking more for it. If you can, grab the Kinvara 9. You might be able to find it on sale or for a discounted price. I feel like it's a bit more comfortable shoe than version 10, but $110 is kind of what I expect. And finally, looks. It's an homage to the first version. I like that. I like the first version. I don't mind this. So looks, yeah, I like it. Bringing us to our final conclusion. Is the Kinvara 10 a buy, try, or a why? In this case, I'm leaning towards why. Only because there are so many versions of the shoe previous that I enjoyed so much, and as it's gotten later in its generations, this is the one that I feel is the least Kinvara-like. Saucony had one of my favorite shoes of all time, one of my very first reviews, a shoe that I have used and rotated through year after year. The 10 might be the first shoe that the miles that I have on it now are going to be all of them. Saucony, if you're watching, you guys were so close with a shoe that I loved so dearly. That being said, if you have any more questions about the Kinvara 10, you want to get a pair for yourself, check out more information, there is a link in the description that will take you over to Running Warehouse where you can get those shoes. I am curious what you think of the Kinvara 10 in the comments of this video. Let me know. Have you run in it? Do you love it? Am I crazy? Don't answer that. The comments is always a great place to get additional opinions on the gear that I review on this channel. That, my friends, is it for my review of the Saucony Kinvara 10. If you like this review, make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, we've been doing this for a long time, and we will continue to do it for a long time. So you may want to stick around for a while and enjoy some other videos while you're here. Enjoy some delicious social media links. If you have not already, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/thegingerrunner. This is my pitch. You get some really cool content on the back ends, exclusive access to cool things coming up. There is a new music album coming up that I encourage you guys to check out on all music platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, everything. Otherwise, get out there, train hard, race harder, and party the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.